So here we are with our goodie pile with the RaceTech Gold Valve Emulators here. Tools and supplies required: a standard fork rebuild tools, ultra slick suspension fluid, 5/16 drill and drill motor, tubing cutter or hacksaw. Okay. Of course we get instructions. Oh, gotta have the stickers. Oh my god, stickers aplenty. Jesus, stop sending me stickers. Don't want your stickers. I'm not interested in stickers. Let's see, we got a set of blue springs here. Our actual gold valve emulators. It seems like a lot of packaging for such small objects. Alright, that's everything that's in there. Alright, so gold valve emulator installation. We've got the forks all apart. We've got our damper rods here. We've got to make sure we have 6 5/16 holes. Right now we've got 4, not quite 5/16 holes. So we mount it all up in the vise. Now we're going to drill them out. Spray a little lube. Alright, we've got 4 5/16 holes. Now we got to add 2 more. Mark out where I'm going to drill that next hole. Now this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and drill straight down through both. Obviously we'll have to clean and chamfer the holes. Now we'll go do the same thing to this one. 6 holes on each. Let's go clean and deburr them. So what I like to do is remember to hit record. So what I use is a flat file to knock down the high metal along it. And then I'll take a drill, it's a hair bigger, and use that. Not quite to chamfer it, but just to make sure I've got all the little bits of metal out of there. 6 5/16 holes. Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You want to make sure you clean this very, very well. Don't leave any little shavings in there. So I'm going to hit it with the kerosene and then spray through it real well with the brake parts cleaner. And we're ready to start reinstalling. Alright, so we're ready to begin reassembly. First I have to get the lower bushing here off. Real easy to get off. You see it's got a little split in it. I'm just going to take a flathead screwdriver. Wedge her open, pull her off, nothing to it. You can see, as you can see, it's pretty well worn inside and out. Most of the Teflon coating is completely gone. Little parts cleaner, shoot it down. Take a rag, clean it off. And we're ready to install our new bushings. So the particular kit I have here is a 39mm fork seal kit from DBI. Part number C0100109C6971. This thing comes with all new everything. One for each side. So you see here's our fork bushing right there. You can see we've got lots of Teflon coating all around the outside of this guy. Popping them on is real straightforward. Just expand it a little. Push it down on there. Make sure it's seated. Install the other side the same way. Bam! Alright. I'm currently baking the lowers. I painted them with the engine enamel, so about 250 degrees for 30 minutes. Will help really make sure this thing's secure very well. Alright, so the fork lowers here are painted, so now we're ready to start assembling some forks. Now these guys go in. These are the damper rods, top out spring, and then this is the spacer that goes in the bottom. This will actually go down in the bottom of the fork tube lower. So the actual fork tube, we've already put our bushings on. We can go ahead and slide these guys into position. Just like so. So now I've got that into the position. We'll take our spacer, put on, and we can take and slide the entire thing down inside. Alright, so I just went to RaceTech's website, checked out their digital valving search. They actually recommend I run the 40-pound spring at 3 turns. So, I figure they're probably smarter than I am. Let me slide these out, and I'll go ahead and switch them out for the 40-pounders. The nice thing about these is it's not super easy. It's certainly not as easy as some of the stuff you find out these days, but I can actually do all of this while it's still on the bike. As you can imagine, not much to this. 9/64 Allen, 11/32 wrench, and just unscrew it. So we'll set this all out here. That's the bleed, the spring, bolt, washers. And this is all there is to the actual gold valve. Just these 2 pieces with a spring between them. And of course, a lock nut. And here's our 40-pound springs. So all we're going to do is remove the yellow spring, slide our blue spring on, and then reassemble. What I'm going to do as I reassemble this is I want to get this down to where I'm just starting to touch the spring right there. So that's 0 preload. So now it's 0 preload, so I want to go 3 full turns. So half, 1 and a half, 2 and a half, 3. Then we'll put our lock nut on there. So now what I'll do is hold this still. Alright, there's one done. Now I'll do the other one. We'll drop these in, we'll go ahead and reassemble them. Alright, drop our dampener rods are both in place, yes. We'll drop our Gold Valve Emulators in. Take our springs, drop those in. And now what we've got to determine is how much preload we need, and therefore how long do we need the spacers. So to do that, extend it all the way up. And I need to measure how deep that is. Let me get my measuring tape. What we've got here, fully extends. I've got 7 3/8 inch. 2 of these will be about 1/8 of an inch thick. Alright, so that leaves me with 7 1/4 inches that I need, which would take this completely up. Now it's going to be 7 1/4 minus my new Roland Sands preload adjusters. My Roland Sands adjusters will come out to 1 1/4 inch, which leave me with needing exactly 6-inch spacers. So the aluminum tube they included is not going to fly. I'm going to need to get some PVC pipe. Alright, 3/4 inch schedule 40 PVC. Put a washer on there. Always make sure you've got a washer for the spacer. I'm just going to test fit this. So the washers that came with the RaceTech springs, my Roland Sands adapter won't go underneath there. So that's an issue. Alright, so I've gone around and around on this, and I think what I'm going to do, looking at the way the bottom of this is basically a giant spacer or washer, I don't think I'm going to actually worry about it. I think what I'm going to do is just leave the top spacer out of the equation. The top spacer washer, rather. And this will make it real easy for me to get my Roland Sands adjusters in. Looks to me like I need to add a little extra length though. I'm going to go cut 2 new spacers, 6 1/4 inch. And that should give me right about where I want it to be as far as preload goes. You see with the Roland Sands preload, adjusters here. I've got, well, about an inch or so, a little more, about an inch, inch and a quarter worth of adjustment that I can do. Now I don't want to start off fully topped out, but it would be nice if this were zero preload on everything. Right there, that's really what I want. Alright, test fit number 2 with 6 3/8 inch adapters. Oh yeah, I think this is going to be what I need. So I want to make sure that I'm able to start these by hand. As you can see, with my preload adjuster all the way out, I'm basically at zero preload. Once I tighten this down, I'll be basically at zero preload. So I'll dial in 30 millimeters of preload right there. And of course, too, if I find out that I can't get enough preload on them, hey, I can always make longer spacers. Set them up 6.5 inch or so. Start incrementing them. All right. So at this point, though, we need to go ahead and do oil level. RaceTech is recommending 15 weight oil at 160 millimeters down. So I need to go ahead and install a little side drain screw, as well as make sure I have. I'm gonna make sure I get my bottom screw in. Keep a little pressure on it. Now, as we measure oil level, we do not want the spring in. We'll go ahead and put our top bushing and everything now in. Top bushing, very easy to put in. Notice this washer fits over it nice, and then I just need a tube to fit over the whole thing, which I don't have. We will drop our bushing down over it, take washer over it, 1.5 inch PVC as a seal driver. I'm going to take a dead blow or whatever you got there and we'll hammer it down there. Now if you listen, you'll hear a difference between when I'm striking it down and when the washer itself is actually down on the lip. So here we go. Hear how it gets kind of a higher pitch to it? So now if I slide this washer off here, I can look down there and see that I have now pushed my bushing all the way down in there. So we'll go ahead and put our washer back on there. Now what I actually like to do is I'll take my seal and I'll put a little bit of the fork oil I'm going to be using on it, just so I'm not pushing this lip down on there dry. So I'll gently start my seal on here. Make sure I get it all the way down on there. Alright. And this will basically nearly push all the way down in place. This won't take much, so. We just need to drive this down. Take our clip, get it in place. Make sure it's seated all the way around. Alright. I'm going to take the oil shield, oil wiper. Make sure it's pushed all the way down. Now we're ready to put our cap back on there. We can pull the spring, and we can go ahead and fill it with oil. Just make sure my Gold Valve Emulator is in there. I want to take my oil level with the Gold Valve Emulator in there. Now what I want to do is fill this with oil until I'm 160 millimeters from the top. And that's going to be my initial oil level. So I'm going to get my tape measure. Alright, now if you're really good at math or have Google, you will know 160 millimeters comes out to about 6 1/4 inches. So I want to go ahead and get a feel for where that is. Alright. So we'll slowly pour the oil in. And you'll see it very slowly going down. Let's see if I can give you guys a good view of this. See the little bubbles? What I'm going to do is work the fork up and down a little bit. I should be able to draw that oil down into the damper rod. Word to the wise, make certain you've put your drain plug back in the side of the fork before embarking on this, or you will spit oil out. I'm beginning to think I'm just showing you guys how not to do it. Alright, see the oil level there. And then if I can and you can see now that my level's dropped. And I've still got more air bubbling out of there. So now I'm going to basically just go ahead and fill it until I get 160 millimeters from the top. So what I do is I take my spacer, run it down. I don't quite have anything on there, so I can put just a hair bit more. And now see how I've got a little ring of the fork oil there? It tells me that I've got it perfectly filled. So next step, you want to make sure you've worked it out real well. I've done that while I was filling it. I didn't record all that. We'll drop our spring in. Make sure my gold valve emulator's in there. Put the spring in. Spring forward. Just gonna drop down in there. We'll take that spacer, drop it in there. Spacer washer. Wait, did that backward. Spacer washer goes in. Then the spacer, and then one of my preload adjusters. Screw this down in to place. This works better if I've actually not got oily hands. Alright. And then I can set my preload from there, put my cap over my top cap over it, and I'm done. Top cap will go right here, all situated. There's one fork ready to rock and roll.